Say goodbye to store-bought fertilizers and hello to a thriving garden with our easy DIY lasagna composting method. No turning, no smell, just results. Discover the secret to nourishing your soil and promoting healthier plant growth in this video. Compost is a truly wonderful thing for any garden. It is the secret to creating soil that is rich, dark, teeming with life. When you make your own compost, you are also doing a great service by reducing the amount of kitchen waste, garden waste that leaves your home. It is a no-turn method that works with nature, not against it, to create beautiful compost for your plants. This method gets its name from the layered dish we all know and love. Just as you would layer pasta sauce cheese in a baking dish, you will layer different types of organic materials in your garden. There is no need for a fancy bin, although you can certainly use one if you wish. You simply build the layers up, one on top of the other, and let time and the tiny organisms in the soil do all the hard work for you. It is a slow, patient process, but the reward is a supply of what gardeners often call black gold. This method is perfect for anyone who wants the benefits of compost without the constant physical effort turning a chore into a simple, satisfying task. The core principle is remarkably straightforward. You alternate layers of brown materials rich in carbon with layers of green materials rich in nitrogen. This layering creates the perfect environment for decomposition. The browns provide the structure and the energy. The greens provide the moisture and the protein that the microorganisms need to thrive and break everything down. This balance is what prevents the pile from becoming smelly or slimy. It is a quiet, clean, and incredibly efficient process that happens right in your own back garden, recycling your waste into a valuable resource. Think of it as building a new bed from the ground up. Many gardeners build these lasagna piles directly where they intend to plant the following season. As the pile breaks down over the winter, it transforms the soil beneath it, creating a wonderfully fertile and friable patch of earth, ready for new seedlings in the spring. It is a method that saves your back, reduces your waste, dramatically improves the health of your soil, and dramatically improves the vitality of your plants. It is a gentle, rhythmic activity that connects you to the natural cycles of decay and renewal, and it is something absolutely anyone can do. Yeah, it's really accessible. One of the great beauties of lasagna composting is how little you truly need to get started. You do not need to go out and buy expensive equipment or complicated machinery. The most important things you need are your materials, browns, greens, and a bit of space. Consider where to build your pile. Find a spot that's reasonably level, preferably on bare earth. Build directly on the soil. It invites earthworms and beneficial microbes up into the pile. A spot with partial shade is ideal. It prevents the pile drying out in summer. Next, a source of water. Watering can hose with a gentle spray nozzle. Decomposition needs moisture water each layer as you build. Aim for a well-wrung-out sponge, damp, not dripping. Having water nearby makes this easy. You're not flooding the pile, just giving it a gentle drink to kickstart biological activity. Water is the lifeblood of the pile, letting microbes move and work. Have a small amount of starter material. Not required, but it gives a head start. Best starter, a few shovelfuls of finished compost. No finished compost? Good garden soil works too. Soil brings a diverse community of microorganisms. Think of this layer as an inoculant introducing decomposers from the beginning. Finally, gather and organize your materials. Browns, cardboard dry leaves, greens, kitchen scraps, grass clippings. Have a pile of browns and a bucket of greens ready. No special bins needed. For a tidier look, a simple pallet enclosure, or a circle of chicken wire. A freestanding pile works perfectly. Simplicity is the point. Minimal fuss. That's pretty much it. Now comes the enjoyable part, assembling your lasagna compost pile. It is a simple and methodical process. Start by laying down your first layer directly on the bare ground. This initial layer should be made of your coarsest brown materials, small twigs, broken up sticks, shredded cardboard. Make this first brown layer about 2 to 3 inches thick. This coarse base layer provides excellent drainage and aeration. It prevents the base from becoming compacted and waterlogged. It creates a sturdy foundation for the rest of your layers. Next, add your first layer of greens on top of the brown base. Kitchen scraps, fresh grass clippings, recently pulled weeds. This green layer should be 1 to 2 inches thick. Spread the greens evenly across the browns. This is the nitrogen-rich component that fuels decomposition and generates warmth. Add a very thin dusting of starter material. Finished compost, garden soil. This scatters microbes throughout the ingredients. After browns, greens, and a sprinkle of soil, add water. Use a watering can to lightly moisten, or use a hose on a gentle setting. Do not blast it with water. Aim for the consistency of a damp sponge. Moisture is crucial for microorganisms to thrive. It helps materials break down and meld together. If brown materials are very dry, like cardboard, add more water. If brown materials are very dry, like dry leaves, add more water. Now repeat the sequence. Add another layer of browns, 2-3 inches. Then another layer of greens, 1-2 inches. Follow with a light sprinkle of soil, or finished compost. Then, another gentle watering. Continue the pattern: browns, greens, soil, water. Keep building until the pile is about 3 to 4 feet high. That size retains heat and moisture. It accelerates decomposition. But don't make it so large it becomes difficult to manage, or so large it becomes starved of oxygen in the center. The primary advantage of lasagna composting is its minimal maintenance. Once you have built your pile to a satisfactory height, simply leave it be. No weekly turning required like active methods. The layered structure creates a balanced environment for slow, natural decomposition. It's called the lazy method, but it's a smart method. Worms do the work. Bacteria do the work, fungi do the work, resist the urge to meddle. Occasionally check the pile's moisture. Decomposition slows if the pile dries out. Every few weeks during long, dry, hot stretches, stick your hand into the side of the pile. It should feel damp. If dry, give it a good watering. Let water soak in slowly, not run off. Heavy rain can make the pile too wet. A waterlogged pile becomes anaerobic and smelly. Cover the top with a tarp during prolonged downpours, or add a thick, dry layer of browns to soak up excess moisture. Continue the lasagna method as you add new materials. Keep a small daily scraps pile next to the main pile. When full, add a new green layer to the main pile. Always cover greens with a layer of browns. This keeps the pile active and reduces pests. Finish the pile with a thick brown layer like straw or leaves. That final brown acts as a biofilter and gives a tidy look. Turning is optional if you want compost faster. Turn with a garden fork every 4 to 6 weeks. Reintroduces oxygen, mixes the materials, speeds up decomposition. For most gardeners, the beauty is hands-off. Let the pile sit and a complex food web establishes. Worms will move up from the soil. Fungi will spread mycelial networks. A whole ecosystem will slowly transform layers into rich, crumbly humus. Patience is a virtue in the garden. This is especially true with the lasagna compost method. Because you're not turning the pile, the process takes a bit longer. Depending on the size of your pile, the materials you used, your local climate, it can take anywhere from 3 months to a full year. A pile built in autumn with leaves and late-season garden clearings will often be ready by the following spring or early summer, just in time for planting. The waiting is part of the magic as scraps and leaves shrink and darken over the seasons. You will know your compost is ready through several clear signs. First, appearance. Finished compost is dark brown or black. It has a fine, crumbly texture. You should no longer be able to identify most of the original materials. Cardboard kitchen scraps leaves. You might still see small twigs, or nutshells. These can be sifted out and returned to a new pile, or you can simply leave them in for added soil structure. Second sign, smell. Finished compost does not smell like rotting garbage. Instead, it has a rich, earthy scent, like a forest floor after a rain shower. If it smells sour, ammonia-like, or generally unpleasant, it's not ready. It likely needs more time, or it may have been too wet, or had too many greens at some point. Simply let it sit longer and the smell will mellow into that classic earthy aroma. Final test, how it feels. Scoop up a handful. It should be light and friable, easily falling apart in your hands. It should feel moist but not sodden. When you squeeze a handful, only a drop or two of water should come out. The volume of your pile will have shrunk dramatically, often to 1/3 or even 1/4 of its original height. That reduction shows the organic matter has condensed into nutrient-dense humus. When your compost looks right, smells right, and feels right, it's ready to be harvested and put to good use in your garden. Once you have this beautiful, dark, crumbly compost, you have created one of the best possible amendments for your garden soil. There are numerous simple and effective ways to use it to benefit your plants. One of the most common uses is to mix it directly into your garden beds. Before planting your vegetables or annual flowers, spread a 1 to 2 inch layer of your finished compost over the surface of the soil. Then, using a garden fork or a tiller, gently work it into the top 6 inches of earth. This immediately enriches the soil. It provides a slow-release source of essential nutrients. Your new plants will draw on those nutrients as they grow. Another, even easier application is to use compost as a top dressing or mulch. Spread about an inch thick around the base of existing plants, perennial flowers, shrubs, trees. Be careful not to pile it directly against stems or trunks. This layer acts like a protective blanket. It helps soil retain moisture, reducing how often you need to water. It suppresses weeds, making gardening easier. As it rains, nutrients slowly leach down into the root zone, feeding established plants through the season. Container gardeners, homemade compost is invaluable for potting mixes. Combine 1 part compost, 1 part peat moss or cocoa coir, and 1 part perlite or vermiculite. This creates a rich, well-draining, life-filled medium superior to many sterile store soils. Potted plants get micronutrients and beneficial microbes. That helps them resist disease and grow more vigorously. Even a thin layer on top of pots gives plants a boost. Lasagna composting is more than a technique. It's a shift in perspective. See yard and kitchen waste not as trash but as a precious resource. It's a quiet, low-effort way to join the cycle of nature, turning decay into life. By building a simple pile, you save money. Reduce your environmental footprint. Cultivate a healthier, more resilient garden. I encourage you to try it. Start with a small pile in a corner of your garden. Gather your leaves and scraps. Layer them up. Watch nature perform its slow, steady miracle. Your plants will most certainly thank you for it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more gardening tips and tricks. And don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know how your lasagna composting experiment is going.